lovers, it is G-Swizz here, and I'm here today to talk about some of my bookish soulmates that I love. If you didn't know, this is a 7 on Sunday topic, and I am the host of 7 on Sunday. I will link the Goodreads page down in the description where you can check it out and you can participate in a topic in the future, or you can suggest a topic. And this week's 7 on Sunday is purely inspired by Valentine's Day. It is Valentine's month. I decided to do a romance TBR last week, and this week I've decided to talk about some of my favorite bookish soulmates. Now, I know that the idea of a soulmate is technically a construct. Not everybody believes in the idea of soulmates. I think I do. I think that's just the demisexual in me speaking. I don't know. Not necessarily just mating bonds, but like, you don't really need to have a mating bond in order to be a soulmate, you know? But the people that I'm going to be talking about in this topic are people who I believe were meant to be with each other based on the circumstances that led them to be together. I mean, I will be mentioning a few people who are actually mated, but some of the people on this list are not mated. So I guess without further ado, I'm gonna get into this list and talk about why I believe these characters are soulmates. The first fictional couple that I have to talk about who I believe are soulmates are Trinity and Zane from the Harbinger trilogy. I truly believe that they are soulmates because things have been troublesome in both of their kind of relational love lives prior to this series, and what I do love is that they're able to relate to each other on a certain level. Overall, you want both of them to succeed because you know how many trials they've both gone through in order to get to the place where they are. I'm not going to spoil much of what happens, but what I do have to say is I believe they are soulmates in particular because everything that came before them and all the lengths that they had to go through to get with each other. And that is exactly what I love in a good romance story. When the stakes are really high and then all of a sudden two characters find love. I love that. That, I'd have to say, is what I would personally define as soulmate, because at the end of the day, it's about the two characters finding each other and realizing that in that time and place, they were made for each other based on their circumstances. I don't know. That is kind of like my definition of soulmates. That is why I consider Camilo and I to be soulmates personally. I can say the same thing about specific fictional characters. Not every fictional character is the soulmate of another, but I see it the most in the characters that I'm mentioning on this list, and Trinity and Zane definitely fit that description for me. Now, this next book that I'm going to mention is also written by the same author, and I'm not going to mention the couple in From Blood and Ash because as much as I do enjoy their dynamic at times, I just prefer, and I just want to give a shout out to the romantic dynamic in A Shadow in the Ember by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I love this dynamic so much, and I feel like these two characters are perfect for each other. I understand why not everybody is attached to Seraphina like they are attached to Poppy, because obviously like Poppy has gone through a lot more that we are able to see visibly, but I do love Seraphina, and I do think that Seraphina and Nyktos are perfect for each other. They balance each other out very well. I love this dynamic so much. Technically, their situation, their circumstance brought them together, and they're not necessarily in the best place at the end of this book due to some circumstances. However, I'm so excited to see how this is going to play out. I personally really love A Shadow in the Ember. Not everybody is crazy about it because it is a prequel story. Not as much happens in it yet. It's more establishing what happened prior to the From Blood and Ash series. However, oh my goodness, the romantic dynamic in here is great. I'm in for the ride. And the next fictional couple I have to bring up is Sarai and Laszlo from Strange the Dreamer. I totally believed that from the beginning they were both soulmates. They are perfect for each other. I absolutely love how much they balance each other out, but kind of just more in a whimsical and wholesome way. They both suit each other. I understand why a lot of people say it does kind of come out as insta-lovey, but you know, sometimes you find love in an unexpected place, and sometimes love grows quicker for some people. And I understand that of course they're teenagers, but you can't deny that there's some beauty to it. You can't deny that Laszlo is the perfect man, and I believe that Laszlo is the person that Sarai deserves. I love Sarai and feel for her a lot. Like, there's some sort of darkness in her power and she just wants to be good. And then there's Laszlo, who's already good and just like is essentially the epitome of happiness. The fact that he comes into her life, oh my god. Love these two characters. I'm happy for them together. I'm happy for them separately. I love both of these characters regardless of their situations. I'm just really happy that they can be happy together. I can't go on and talk about soulmates without bringing up Percy and Annabeth from the Percy Jackson and the Olympian series. This is a ship that I believe a lot of us us late millennials, early Gen Zers, we aspire to be like Percy and Annabeth when we grow older. Or like we've always aspired to have a relationship like Percy and Annabeth because they are just an amazing couple who are essentially ride or die. Of course, they're snarky with each other. Like Annabeth will always kind of like jokingly pick on Percy, but deep down she has a heart. And Percy has always been the type of person to pursue Annabeth and wish her the best and do everything he possibly can to make her happy. I love these two characters, how much effort they put into their relationship, and like they started off as kids. We get to see their journey from them being children to them now. It's so wholesome, it's so special to me. They are definitely dear in my heart. I believe they are dear to a lot of the readers of Percy Jackson. These days I can't go on Twitter without seeing at least one Percabeth mentioned during that week. Absolutely everyone who knows Percabeth loves Percabeth. And the next couple that I have to mention are Tristan and Cecile from Stolen Songbird. These two characters are mated, and they're kind of like reluctantly mated because this is more of a marriage of convenience trope. That's why I recommend you guys read it. Oh my goodness, a lot of you guys keep on talking about how you want marriage of convenience fantasies or marriage of convenience books, like books with those tropes in them essentially, but like it's right here. It's right here in the Malediction trilogy. I think that the Malediction trilogy does it perfectly. I would highly recommend you read this book. I would highly recommend you read this series and see how Cecile and Tristan fall in love with each other over time and how their love becomes something absolutely beautiful. It's so inspiring. Like, I believe in love at the moment. I'm a newlywed, but like I love fantasy romances like this that make me believe in love even more. The Malediction trilogy does that very well, and you can obviously evidently see it through Tristan and Cecile's romance. It's been a year since I've read this series, so yeah, I think I want to reread it already. I'm not going to spoil this series, but I'm going to give my opinion. But there is a love triangle. I'm going to give you guys my opinion on who I would choose out of the love triangle. I'm going to talk about the Crave series, and I'm bringing up Crush because we are introduced to a character who I believe is the soulmate of Grace. I believe that Hudson is the soulmate of Grace. I love Hudson Vega so much. You know, there's Jackson Vega. You meet him. A lot of people compare him to Edward from Twilight, and some people think that Flynn is the Jacob of the series. No. Read Crush, trust me. The plots really diverge from Twilight after book 1, but then even then, like, the first book isn't even like Twilight whatsoever, but I think a lot of people are just making the comparison because of the covers. Oh my goodness, Hudson Vega. He's my favorite because he knows how powerful Grace is, and he encourages her to use her powers. He encourages her to be strong. He encourages her to be brave, but he's also got Grace's back. If you've read this book, you'd know how much he actually knows Grace compared to Jackson. Jackson doesn't really know much about Grace, therefore he does not trust her to make certain decisions. That is my opinion about the series. I believe that Grace and Hudson are soulmates, and personally I think that they're endgame. I don't hate Jackson Vega, I just don't like him as a love interest to Grace. I think that Jackson Vega has potential to grow and develop as a love interest for someone else, but yeah, I don't ship him with Grace. And the last couple that I want to bring up, I'm not gonna bring the main couple up from the series because as much as I like them, you know, I mean, I feel like we've been praising them for a very long time. It's about time we start talking about Nesta and Cassian. Don't get me wrong, I like Feyre and Rhysand. Camilo likes Feyre and Rhysand, but I think we both agree that we prefer Nesta over those two characters. I love that he totally agreed with that even though he hasn't actually read A Court of Silver Flames. I love Nesta and Cassian so much. I'm not gonna lie, I shipped them straight away from the moment that they met. I literally read A Court of Mist and Fury and was like, oh my god, they're perfect for each other. Yeah, of course they're fighting in the first scene that they meet each other essentially, and they're being snarky with each other, but they balance each other out very well. Like, I got their romantic chemistry from the first time they were arguing with each other. I knew that in that moment, they were perfect for each other and I would ship them. I don't know why. People did not even see it. People did not even recognize it until they read A Court of Wings and Ruin and then got to the end of the book and they're like, oh, SJM is developing something between them. But I recognized it from that bickering scene that they had in A Court of Mist and Fury. The chokehold both of those have had on me since 2016. Oh my goodness. These guys have literally got me effed up, I swear. For years, I have been literally just so happy to see them develop. This is why this is my favorite book in the series. No, actually, no. I have many reasons why this book is my favorite book in the series because I totally resonate with both of these characters and everything. But if there is any ship that I've ever wanted to happen in the ACOTAR universe, it's here. And yeah, if you guys are wondering who I ship Azriel with, it's Gwyn. Gwyn real supremacy all the way. I understand why a bunch of you guys ship Elaine and Azriel, but like, I feel more emotionally attached to Gwyn, and I feel emotionally attached to Azriel. I've never felt that way with Elaine. And I understand why some people do, but I've never ever resonated with Elaine as much as I've resonated with the other characters. But I do want Lucian to be happy. You know, everybody's also shipping Lucian and Vasa, like I get it. But I guess for me, I'm pro mating bond here. I'm just gonna say that. I know I'm going to upset a bunch of people, but that's my opinion, okay? You guys can still ship who you want to ship. And you know what? Sarah J. Maas can probably change my mind eventually if she decides that Elaine and Azriel are canon. But at the moment, I can't be swayed until Sarah changes my mind. So I guess that's gonna be it for this video today, book lovers. If you stayed to the end, leave me a yellow heart emoji because we're still gonna continue on with the theme of love until we use all the hearts. If you happen to enjoy this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet already. Join the amazing community of book lovers. And also, I have social medias. I'm at GSwizzleBooks on Twitter and Instagram, and I'm also Goodreads. That's www.goodreads.com/gswizzle. And finally, I'm at TikTok. Matt GSwizzle on TikTok if you want to follow me there for some bookish content. I love you, book lovers, and I will see you later. Peace.
Started out with half and I flipped it in a double. Started out with half and I flipped it in a double.